Hello? Hello, hello, hello? Hello? I could probably just use this hand. There we go. Left hand. Hi. Hello. How we all doing? We doing okay? How's everyone hanging? I know I'm like 1 minute early, but you know, that's how it goes. Hello, Ghost Cat VR. Oh, nothing much. Real Rusgartzel. Real Rusgartzel. Yeah, doing good. Just, you know, I feel like I'm out of practice with how to do streams and like especially add background stuff. There we go. I was just listening to my phone. That's where I have the chat. Oh, nice. Ghost, how do you make like Beat Saber maps? How do you do that? I've seen people play Beat Saber, but I've never like played it myself, and I've never looked at how that type of thing works. Oh, sorry. Wind in Turkish. Okay. Rüzgar. Anyway. All right. Well, there's a lot to celebrate today, and I'm very excited and nervous to do it. But yeah, I'm just gonna wait, of course, for a little bit until some people come in. Yeah. Welcome everybody. I see there's a few more people. Maybe you're not in the chat yet. That's okay. Hello, welcome. Yeah, this is a momentous occasion, and I think I have enough stuff to do to keep us entertained for a little bit anyway. But, of course, for those who are more active on chat, hello, Rabid Mutt. Yeah, well, and that's the thing, Real, is the juxtaposition between my anniversary on YouTube, which is tomorrow, actually, getting closer to 10K. I kind of thought we were going to hit it already, but there's that, and then there was also the EP that I dropped, so I decided, like, do I just celebrate all of them at once, even though they're not all here exactly? I figured, you know. I also hadn't done a stream in a while, so I figured all those things, it's basically there. You know, we don't entirely have the ship all the way built, but we're gonna send it out on the water anyway. You can't call it the ship of Theseus if it's not all the way built. It's gonna sink. But anyway. Oh, so you just kind of place notes on a grid and everything goes. That's cool. That's really cool. My cousin has this app. They go through school, like a music program at their school, and there's so many apps out there that you literally can just like click a couple buttons and like loop things and then play it all together. Like it's meant for kids to play with and everything, but the application is so user friendly. It's like, oh my gosh, I can totally see how this works. But well, 9, hello, first of all, welcome in, and I appreciate the enjoyment that I've given you out of my reactions and stuff. So, yeah. No, it's very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. I wouldn't be here without people's support. And I said that as much beforehand. I had a whole different channel, and for reasons that I'm almost still not aware of, I just up and deleted it one day. And I was aware that, like, people could probably find me very easily if I started another channel, and people did. And I was very surprised that people still wanted to support. They wanted me back. They wanted to, you know, be like, hey, I'll keep supporting you. I'll never take that for granted. So, yep. All right. So, we got a whole bunch of things to talk about. One of the first things that I said I was going to do is do a Q&A. So, I'm going to pause the music here real quick. Said we're going to do a Q&A, and that is what we're going to do. Well, so to just make it clear, because I know there's been a few people that have, been asking me about a few different reactions, that kind of thing. Until recently, my internet has just been terrible. So even if I've been able to record bits and pieces of certain reactions, like the Worker album that I just put out a reaction for, has taken me 3 days to record in snippets because the internet's just that bad. I don't even know what to tell people about it. And even then, even if I do edit a video and it looks okay, there's no guarantee it's going to be able to be uploaded. Because if the internet's bad, it's going to take hours to get to 10%. And I don't want to just leave my computer up. I think even on Discord, I posted pictures of that process where I was like, I've literally kept this going for my whole day at work, and we're at 10% for a video that's only 16 minutes long. So until recently, my internet has just been so catastrophically horrible. And I think part of it was the VPN that I was using. I think that was slowing everything down so monumentally. I don't know why, but literally that's the bigger issue. It's not that I don't want to get out stuff. I mean, if anyone knows me from my previous channel, I would upload so frequently. Now, I've been trying to pull that back and only upload once a week for the most part. I've been bending the rules a little bit because I feel like I've given you guys so little over the last couple weeks. It's something I'm still working on and trying to be comfortable with, but it's literally not me choosing to sit here and be like, I don't frickin' care. I do care. It's very much at the forefront of my mind. So the most recent videos that I uploaded, I've been working to even try to finish them and then upload them. So that is the full extent of what you got from me on that. So, yeah. Anyway, though, very much appreciate all you guys. Hello, Andrew. So I'm going to go to my Discord, my community Discord. I asked them to ask me any sort of question, and we're going to get into that. There's one straight out the gate that just doesn't make any sense to me, saying simply, can you drown a fish? I don't know. I mean, if you're holding water in your hand, are you holding water or is your hand wet? It's those kind of questions that I just don't know how to even answer it. So I won't. Anyway, Andrew, this is a question that he put out. Favorite mid-anime? Like, you know it's garbage, or it's not really that high quality, but it's still one of your favorites. I had been thinking about this ever since it came out because, like, I feel like what I feel like some of my favorite anime are not that amazing compared to other anime out there, but I love it. So I would guess I would call it mid, but it's not really mid. But Eurocamp, also known as Laid Back Camp, it's just a comfy, cozy show. And it's also got insatiably cute characters that are just happy to go out into the woods and camp and make some food and be with friends. It's just a good, cozy time. Also, all the pine cones in the show go konnichiwa when they get picked up. It's just a cute time. The narrator goes way too hard explaining, at this elevation, it is much faster for water to boil, and that is how they were able to boil their noodles in less than 5 minutes. Like, just very sweet stuff. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's just about having fun. But I know there's plenty of other shows out there that are just like a better story, quote unquote, that kind of thing. So, because other than that, I don't really watch a whole lot of shows. I just started watching Gachiakata, but then I wasn't able to get into it for too long. And then I just started watching Iron Walk John, which I guess started being serialized in 1995, and it was the inspiration for Food Wars. But it's not like sexy or anything like that. It doesn't have these ridiculous moments, but it has the same sort of thing that I love about shows like Food Wars, where someone pulls out this incredible food technique and no one knows why, and then they explain, oh, yes, I did this because instead of using oil, I used salt. And everyone's like, whoa! And it's like actually realistic stuff. So that was really, really cool to watch. And they did a whole little blurb on how it's been like 28 years since Iron Walk John was serialized to now it being an anime. And it was very monumental in early manga culture during the 90s when there was a huge like recession with printed media. If I'm remembering it correctly, I might be wrong. But it was just one of those things where I was like, oh, that's really like, I love it for that reason alone. You know, that it was an inspiration for these other shows, and it stood its own during a time of like big time recession and stuff. So Rabid Mutt was just saying here in the comments here, mid in the sense that it's a club show and they're trying to show you a hobby that you can engage with, and it's not that deep, but it's a pleasant watch regardless. Andrews and Silk was saying, I was thinking of series that you made rap and dance videos about. Jeez Louise, have you really been watching me that long? That's crazy. Because, I mean, I remember those shows, of course, but gosh, that was so long ago. Jeez. Oh, man, that just gave me a memory of, like, the old Uma Musume raps that I tried making. I just wanted to be a nerdcore rapper. That's how it all started. I wanted to be this nerdy-ass nerdcore rapper. But not very many of those shows were mid, I don't think. Welcome to Ballroom was good. I know there were people who complained that it didn't have much intricate dancing going on, but it showed a lot of the interpersonal relationship of the dancers in the show. And I kind of thought that was more important than just showing these stunning visuals of dancing or whatever. I don't know. I know there was that one show. I started watching it because it was cute, but then I just didn't finish it. It was like after school board games or something like that. And it was just this lady who just likes board games, but she couldn't make any friends. So then they formed a club where she met other people that played board games. But I only watched a little bit of it. And I was like, I mean, it's cute, but I think at the time I was doing... So when I used to do nerdcore rap videos, I would watch 3 episodes. It would be 1 episode for a different show. And at the time it was Land of the Lustrious, I think Eurocamp, and Ancient Magus Bride, I think, before I stopped watching Ancient Magus Bride and started watching Uma Musume. But every week they would drop another episode. I would write a rap song summarizing it, and then I would do choreography to it, and then that's what I did. So it was 3 videos every week, trying to catch up on every show. But I don't think I did much with so it was with that said, I didn't have time to always check out all these other shows that I liked. But yeah. Okay, cool, Andrew. I'm glad that, you know, you haven't been watching me for that long. That would make me worried. You need to watch other people. I'm just kidding. But Real says, which is better for you, dancing or rapping or both? Well, here's the thing: is I haven't been practicing dance recently. I just haven't been doing it. Anytime you've seen me post a dance video on this channel, that's been the one time that I've sat down, or stood up, I should say, and thought, okay, I'm going to just try and bust a move, try and remember it. It was fun to do, but I think also just based on like my workload and, other things that I'm doing, I'm not as flexible as I used to be anymore. And it's also unfortunate because, like, even though I would love to keep doing dance, there's just not a market on YouTube for it anymore. There's no audience for it. I almost wanted to make a video about it a while ago where it was like there were so many dancers and dance crews and dance shows in the early 2000s or the early 2010s. Like 2012 was huge. We had the Pumped Up Kicks dubstep dance from Marquis Scott. His crew, Dragon House, they did So You Think You Can Dance competitions. There was America's Best Dance Crew. There was all these conglomerate dance groups that were huge. Dance On Network put out competitions almost every month where you could upload a dance video and get like cash prizes and all this other stuff. It was so huge, and then it just fell apart. I don't even know why. I wish I could even understand why, because there are a couple dancers still on this platform. Just recently I heard about a guy overseas who does really cool dance stuff. But like Mad Chad, Poriotics, I Am Me, like all these dance groups and individual artists, they're gone. They are just nowhere. Hawk, Ninjax, Moon, just so many genres of dance are just not represented on YouTube anymore. And I don't know why. Because it's not like we don't have short form content now. I think there was a point where maybe it would have been a little harder to try and get monetization out of a 3.5 minute video if you're just dancing to a song. But there's plenty of songs out there that have no copyright that are popular. So I just don't know where all those companies and dance crews went to. I don't know. So, yeah, that's the long and the short of that. I wish I could do more dance, but it's just not a thing anymore. And I also realized as well, kind of more on a personal note, that as much as I loved dancing to other people's music, the longer that I did it, the more I felt like, well, I kind of want to say something too. So I want to make my own music. And we'll be talking about that music here in a second. We just got to go through this Q&A here real quick. I've only gone through like 2 questions. Andrew's back at it with another question. Which is one of your lost albums do you wish... which one of your lost albums do you most wish you had back? Which one of your singles? There was one that I made a while ago that was my first foray into hyperpop. What was it called? I can't remember what it was called. But it had this pirate character who she was supposed to embody like my ADHD. And she was just super like, yeah, let's just go with every idea. Let's just make it happen. Da 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 da. And the producer I had for those tracks was really good. So he made me sound really good. It was really cool. And some of my favorite songs were from that era, but it got so little love compared to other genres that I was in at the time, because I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do musically. But that album, I forgot what it was called, but I wish I kept it. Just for my own posterity more than anything, I think. Okay, so let me see. Yeah, dance to my own music. I actually thought about doing that. Once I actually figure out where I want to go for the foreseeable future with my music, which we will talk about, I would love to do dance covers. I would love to do actual music videos and then have reason to just bust a move on it and actually make it look good. Or just hold my phone up and just do an old-fashioned dance video like what I used to do. So that is definitely something that would be... oh my gosh, Mustard... Wait, hold on. Mustard Gas, what was that one? Oh my gosh, that was one of the titles. Holy smokes. Oh my gosh, what was that about? Oh my gosh, I forgot about that entirely. It was something like calling someone mustard gas. Like with every word they'd say, it would just be toxic and just painful. Oh my gosh! Wow. I would not have. Okay. No, I don't think that one was in the same album that I was thinking of. There was oh man, it was oh wow, why can I not think of it? I can't think of what it's called. Anyway, we got to keep going here. My goodness, I am taking forever. How would RS or Ram said, how would you describe your goals in the future that you want to do permanently, not temporarily, like music and art and that kind of thing? And then I'll just throw this one in here as well. This was from just T on my server. Said, will the blue hair ever come back? Probably not. Unless I can come up with some character or something that has blue hair and it'll give me reason to have a blue hair wig. For those people that know, you know. I'm not going to explain it. Anyway, though, in terms of goals for the future, I really want to be like a good A&R agent, if that makes sense. I don't even know if that's the... I don't even know if that's the... like, I feel like so much music is just not cared about because it doesn't rake in money. And I get it. If you're a company, you got to make money. If you put all your eggs in a basket, you want to work with people who make money. You know, even with how some bands out there are planted by studios and stuff, it's still talented people involved. You're not going to hire a nobody to carry a brand. We've already seen industry plants fail because they're a nobody that someone was like, oh, this is going to make money, and then they don't. I want to be someone who could like platform people that are actually working hard and they're actually making music that's good. I try and do that with my reactions, but I feel like there's only so much I can do with that. Not to say that I can't do more, it's just I wish I could do more. I wish there was more ways that I could really tap into new artists or smaller artists and just give them a leg up on things. Because, I mean, what bothers me about most of the music industry as well is there's so many people out there that have no music talent, they have no skill, they have nothing to say other than their jaded opinions, and they have the ear of hundreds of thousands of people. From Anthony Fantano to Sean C. to CDTV to Pitchfork to all these other groups and conglomerations, they can literally cause people to not be interested in a musician simply because they argue, well, I don't like the music, so it's bad. I hate that attitude exists. I hate that attitude makes money. I hate that attitude is something a lot of artists are scared to have to stand up to. Because I get it. I've read artists saying, like, I'm worried about putting out music because there's this butthead who just hates anything that isn't a bop, you know? We see that in rap all the time. People detracting lyrical content because it's not fun. It's not danceable. And these guys aren't some dude. They own a podcast. They are a big name in the industry, and they argue, well, it's just my opinion. But you are arguing that what they're making is not good because it doesn't fit what you like. I hate that is the big bad, so to speak, that a lot of artists have to face. I wish that would never happen anymore. I wish those people didn't have a platform. Now, there are plenty of people out there like John Barbas from Heavy Metal Philosophy that he says with every video as he talks about his favorite albums of the week. He literally is like, this is what I like. This fits what I like. And he doesn't talk about stuff that's bad unless he's doing like a discussion video about a piece of media or something culturally relevant in the scene. He literally just talks about what he likes. And he just says like, hey, if you like this, you should check this out. I would long to have more people do that. I don't see the point anymore, aside from some people who just think it's fun to just clown on something they don't like. I don't see the point of that. I get it if it's an established artist that they put out some garbage. Like Tyga just came out with a fully AI album that sounds terrible. Everything about it, from the lyrics to the voice to everything, is god awful. It's bad. To quote one of the songs, everything looks like purple. That's how stupid it was. And he genuinely thought that this would all roll over, that no one would pay attention to it, that they would give the album some credit. That stuff is garbage. And I can understand if you want to clown on something like that and be like, come on, Tyga, you're actually good at something. Stop doing that. But that's not what happens so often. So many people think that their opinion equals a principle that everyone else has to uphold. And if you don't, then you're actually labeled as bad, which is the dumbest litmus test I've ever heard. And I hate how people do that. And they get money off of that. They make a career off of being ignorant because they show they don't know much about music when they think that kind of thing. And then they criticize artists who are far more talented than they're letting their audience in on. Anyway, I rambled on that one. Let's see. Let's see. What happened to the mic? Is the mic okay? Let me see. Okay. I can't. Oh, my mouse isn't. Where am I going? Come on, mouse. Scroll. There we go. Okay. So, I think that's it for. Which anime is the best for you that got you to make VTuber characters and use them for yourself? Okay, so RS or Ram threw in this one question just now that said, which anime is the best for you that got you to make VTuber characters and then use them for yourself? I'm assuming this means like when I did that little foray into being a VTuber, it literally was, it had nothing to, like, okay, so if you guys saw those videos, I have like my character has like a white t-shirt on and he just has rippling muscles. I did not okay that for the artist. I didn't mean for that to happen. I didn't want him to just be this like muscle-bound dude necessarily. But I can see why, you might look at something like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with just the ridiculous shirts and be like, oh, that was his inspiration. I just wanted a blonde character with a white t-shirt and he's like a rapper or something. I had no other frame of reference for any of it. Now, in that same regard, he also asks, what would you do if you could create art in your free time besides anime? I'm assuming we're moving outside of the anime-related genre, like nerdcore kind of stuff, or making my own stories and then telling that through music or whatever. I think... I don't know. I think if I were to go away from that, it would just be, I think it would just be like just normal music, quote unquote. And I would just write about myself, or I would write about maybe something societal. I even thought about making music about like, online culture that's so disdainful about people and stuff. I almost wanted to go that route, but I don't know. I just, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I just don't really like that idea. I feel like it kind of puts me in a hole. And for some of those entitled, arrogant people out there who thrive off of that kind of negative energy, I would keep giving them what they want. So I feel like what would be better and better serving of my time is to try and make something that can be inspiring. So with that said, so we finished the Discord comments, but we're going to go into discussion about my music here, because bam, we got this out here. This was, if you guys saw the, Bandcamp link that I put out, related to the EP that I just dropped this morning, you would see this art instead of the art that's just the lower half right here. And the title is going to be, instead of The Fear Has Legs, it's The Cemetery of Creation. That is the EP that I dropped. 5 songs, new metal. It's on Bandcamp. That's the avenue with that. So, yeah. So that's what I'd just been working on. And it was really interesting to do this because literally every time I tried to make just a general anime character and just make them really cool and stuff, I hated it. I hated every single thing I made. None of it ever sat with me. I didn't know why. And then I finally sat there and I was like, what if I did like a monster? What if I did a monster character? And then literally, there's no crazy backstory. There's nothing about this. She is literally in the cemetery that this project takes place in, where I'm essentially walking amongst the graves of all the characters that I've made, but their stories have never been completed, and she's just there. She's not some herald of doom. She's not there to teach any lessons. She's not there to do anything. She is just there to be present, right? I know at certain parts in some of the songs, there's kind of this voice that comes in where she's like, what if you just give up? So it's like, yeah, I said she doesn't really do anything, but she kind of does. So I lied. But that was a through point for me with making some music, because what I really wanted to do was at least give voice to the frustration of trying to make something, and just despite my best efforts, I can't do it. I didn't know what else to do. And to really, I almost thought of putting a parental advisory visual over this thing, because some of the songs are graphic. It goes a very heavy metal, like it's figurative as well. If you listen to it, it's not literal, but it does speak to a very violent frustration about this narrative concept called killing your darlings, where you literally have to cut out the things that you might really feel attached to because it's ruining the product. And I hated to think about that idea, but the more I got in my head about how narratively that could be really interesting, then it just gave this very like nasty, almost like, for lack of a better term, a killer of Captain Crunch, if you can catch my drift on that. Just going through all these different characters, all these stories, and just laying waste to it. All of them are gone. All of them are thrown away. All of them are put away. And I know for something like nu metal, it kind of argues that you should be intense. But the more I worked on the songs, the more I felt like, you know what, I'm just exhausted. So I know there might have been some songs where it feels like, oh, maybe you could have yelled right here, or you could have been a little bit more intense. I gave it everything I felt I needed to emotionally. And I felt like that was also another part of this whole process. This is me putting down these ideas, this energy that I'd been holding on to and trying to make good, and I just couldn't anymore. So that's what the idea was on that. So one thing Real just said in chat was, do you like that your opinion changes over time, but sometimes you can keep it the same? I have lived my life trying to change opinions whenever I get new information. Because when I was young, when I was a kid, when I was in high school, I used to be that butthead that would hate a band just because it existed. And I never understood it. I didn't know anything about them. I can remember there's this punk band called Hawk Nelson. I don't think they're around anymore. But there was a friend of mine who really liked their music. I remember viciously slamming them because I didn't like their voice. And I remember that almost every day and just think that was the most arrogant, ignorant thing that I could have done. Because I knew nothing about the band. I never actually sat down and listened to their stuff. I never tried to understand what they did. I just wanted to insult them because I didn't like one little thing about them. So when I see people criticize Iron Mouse's Cry For Me because they don't like her voice in the chorus, I feel like those are literally the exact same kinds of people as what I was, which is why that attitude ticks me off. So, yeah. Yeah. But Ghost, please go check it out. It's really, it's a labor of love, so to speak. And in terms of where I want to go next, I'm not really sure. I mean, I have characters, I have stuff that I'm working on, I have story ideas. But in terms of the musical direction, I've contemplated just going back to hip-hop, just going back to rap, just these trap beats like what I used to do. It feels like stylistically the more simple choice for me, and it's what I've been making with my previous catalog for years. I'm more familiar with that genre than metal. As much as I love the aesthetics of metal, as much as I love a lot of the culture of metal, and there's a lot of things with hip-hop that I just do not respect anymore, and that's kind of something that I wanted to talk about as well. Well, you know, it's... Andrew, I wish it was just Connor, but I've seen videos where people criticize Iron Mouse as well. They think her voice is screechy. And I try not to go into those spaces because it just pisses me off, because they're not there to actually learn about who Iron Mouse is. They're just like, chat, what even is this? Ew, yucky. These guys are so weird. Ew. It's like, oh, it's so insufferable. Yeah. Anyway, though, yeah, I just do want to show you guys the art for this lady as well. I thought it was really, really cool. I loved just the long, like, kind of spidery limbs and I had ideas for, like, how the skin is actually, like, it's bits and pieces of people, like, haphazardly sewn together, and there's actually some monster underneath that's trying to look unassuming. But then that kind of went against the bigger story that I wanted to tell, where this person is not there to be anything. She's not here to try and personify anything. She's just a placeholder. She is just in this space of the cemetery, and that's it. So, but yeah. Well, and that's the thing. You know, Ghost was just saying in the comments, like, you know, people on Twitter and TikTok are hating on Mouse just because. That's the thing that still pisses me off about all this. It's not just, like, it's not just words. It's not just words. And this is the human side of things that I think most people don't understand about the internet. It's not just you saying stupid stuff into the void and it doesn't affect anybody. Like, I find it interesting whenever I have fallen, you know, and I've allowed my anger to get the better of me, and I comment on one of these videos. It's like some of these people, I'll tell you, they get mad that people don't just go with their opinion or leave them alone. That's the weirdest thing about it to me. I saw this comment when Iron Mouse beat Kai Cenat's stream record, of which, by the way, Kai Cenat was very purposeful in saying, hey, don't hate her, go congratulate Iron Mouse. She did an amazing job. Nobody listened to him. Not a single one of his fans listened to him, which is insane to me. You don't even listen to the very people that you think are more deserving of an award than somebody else. That's the weirdest crap to me. But someone did a clip that said, how did this thing beat Kai Cenat? First of all, I love how they were being so dismissive of a disabled woman of color by saying, ew, she does some model thing that I don't understand. Ew, yucky. Who is this thing? And this person's on the internet, and their chat is on the internet, and they don't even want to Google who is Iron Mouse. You know, I don't want to learn anything about this. I just want to be insensitive. And I commented literally saying that. I was like, it's kind of weird to me that you guys are on the internet and you don't want to learn anything about her. And I had this comment addressed to me. I wish I framed it because it's the most nonsensical crap I've ever heard. They literally said, not every niche needs to be understood or respected. Not every niche? What niche are you talking about? Streaming on the internet? That's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Hololive in and of itself is worth billions right now. It is not a niche. Just because you don't know about something doesn't mean it holds no weight and it's nothing. Not every niche needs to be understood. I mean, I can almost understand that. There's plenty of things out there on the internet that I don't know anything about. I don't take time to learn because I have so much on my plate anyway. I don't need to separate my time to learn about every new thing that comes out, okay? but not every niche needs to be understood or respected. That's the part that I can't stand. And I commented on that, and I added the person who made that clip, and I said, I would be embarrassed if I had fans like that. That their takeaway is, hey, here's this thing that I don't understand. I hate it just because it exists. I would be so embarrassed if I ever gave the attitude to my fan base that if you don't like something, insult it. Don't take time to learn about the other person who is obviously on the other side of the screen. Be an asshole because you want to be, and then that's it. And then actually be entitled and angry when people call you out on that. That's the other part that doesn't make any sense to me. So, I'm getting off my soapbox on that one. But, it's just, it's annoying. So, we do have to get going with more comments here. I didn't even read the ones on YouTube yet. We segued to the music stuff. Now we got to go into the comments here. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's like I don't understand anything about jazz music. I don't understand anything about a lot of experimental genres because I grew up listening to rock and metal. I don't go out of my way to videos about that stuff and go, what even is this? Ew. Even if it got popular, even if some experimental jazz fusion group just blew up on the internet, like I'm not going to Bad Bunny and being like, ew, chat, what is he even saying? Like, I don't waste my time doing that. I just don't get how people can be so, like, how they think it's actually worth their time to be like, I need to be insufferable. I need to be a tumor today. But anyway, we're going, my back's hurting. I'm getting old, guys. Don't get old, okay? As much as it depends on you, don't get old. All right? Okay, so I'm trying to find the first spot where I talked about let's see. Oh my goodness. Let me turn back on the cool music while I try and figure this out here. Yeah, and I mean, I know really I make it worse for myself by taking any time to think about it. But despite how I try to not think about it, whenever I hear any artist at all feel like they can't be themselves or they feel scared to publish a piece of music because they feel like people are going to insult it, I get viscerally angry, like immediately. I don't know why. But, oh my goodness, I need to freaking try and find this here. I was working on new music, that's the end. I think it's probably here. Okay, I think it is here. Okay, all right. Now, let me go into. I'm just gonna have the comments up on screen so you guys can actually look at something here. So it's not just whatever. Bam. Here we are. Evan Sutton, K6C, says, I know you make awesome music and reaction content, but have you ever taken up gaming? If you ever decide to, Portal and Portal 2 are amazing games that I would recommend. They're mostly puzzle games, etc., etc. I have played Evan, both of the Portal games. I don't have a setup or a gaming system that would allow me to play it, so unfortunately I wouldn't be able to do that. But I think it was one of the first things I was obsessed with in terms of lore. Like, I remember being in a junior college, and I asked one of my classmates what The Cake is the Lie was about, and then he told me what it was about, and then I was just fascinated with it. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to learn more about this. And then I went down this rabbit hole of watching lore videos on YouTube and stuff. It was a good time. I did have a Roar Games channel where I just focused on horror games, but it was on my laptop, which couldn't record very well. There were plenty of games that I just couldn't play. And also, for whatever reason, on my screen here, I guess it's the size of my monitor, but I get motion sick immediately when I start playing games like this. So I don't know how to fix that, but yeah, it's a it's a thing. So Shadow, hello, welcome in. Yeah, well, and that's the thing is like, where I feel like I am right now is objectively a really exciting place because I've pursued a lot of different genres of music. I've tried a bunch of different things, and I know what my strengths are that I can bring to YouTube, that I can bring to other platforms, especially in music. I've been in the music scene for a while. I've seen a lot of highs and lows of it. So I'm just excited for whatever genre I want to hop into next. If that means going back to just trap music, like just trap stuff, I feel like I'll still be able to deliver something worthwhile. Because ultimately, I mentioned this to a Disaster VTuber a while ago. I would love to literally have it all in terms of being, an otaku anime fan. I would love a story that I made through music to become a manga, to become an anime, to be cosplayed, to have live shows where I can have cosplayers like participate in the live show. I would love to go on tour. I want to do all of it. That would be a goal. And that kind of goes back to a question asked of me earlier, like, what are your permanent goals? I don't know if it would ever like trump a 9-to-5 that I do, because I love the consistency of a 9-to-5 job, and I also work at a really great company. But in terms of the music stuff, I want it all. I want every last bit that I can get because I love it. I love all that stuff, and I get so happy for other artists when they get the opportunity to do that. Rico Wonder, they just did a live show with Ellie Minibot at Otakon. They did phenomenally, and I think Rico Wonder, I think they're doing like a tour right now. Their music is getting out there. They are getting bigger. They are able to bring their stuff out to bigger audiences. I am so happy for them for that. I love it. So anyway, to go back to gaming, I love playing horror games, even though they scare the tar out of me. I just know it's good content, and I know afterwards I'll enjoy watching myself scream. Maybe I'll get back into that if more of you guys want, but it will take more time out of my day. And I just kind of like sticking with one channel as it is. But anyway, though. Yeah, breakcore rap. I don't know, man. It really is a challenge in a lot of ways, and I feel like that was one of the things that got me with nu metal is like, as a rapper, I just want to rap for the whole track. Just let me go for 3.5 minutes. But I know that in metal, you can take whole chunks of time where you say nothing because it's all about the other instrumentalists. But I'm not playing with a band. I'm working with one producer to make the instrumentals. So I feel like if I'm doing a live show and I'm just kind of standing there like, well, this is where the instrumental plays because someone else made the instrumental that you're listening to, it feels almost like I'm being lazy, if I'm being honest. So anyway, we got to keep going here. We got a couple more questions. Holo Jed says, do you feel like Japanese music, either rap or pop or rock, is in a better state currently than those genres in North America? If so, why? I don't know much about the J-rock scene. I know that J-pop and K-pop is as big as it's ever been, and it just keeps getting bigger, especially with acts like BTS that are bringing more of their popular sound to the States. I know they're just going to keep going up and up and up and up and up. I would say, I think in some circles, J-pop is doing better than American pop. I think. That's just my assumption. I haven't looked at statistics on it. That's just my thought. In terms of rap, I personally think the U.S. was really struggling at one point. I think the Kendrick and Drake beef really got people thinking more about rap music. And I don't just mean hip-hop heads. I mean people who have been casual listeners. I think Kendrick really presented an idea to people that has been in the back of stupid people's brains for the last 20 years, that you can't have introspective music that makes you think, that makes you want to dance at the club. And people are still saying, not like us. I've never heard it in a club before. I literally posted a video on my Discord where I was at a club. I was at a bar with a friend, and they were playing Not Like Us. So it's like, come on, man. It can absolutely happen. And I think it just resurged a lot of, interest in music like that. I don't know how that compares to Japanese rap. I know that they are extremely talented. There are plenty of artists out there that it's like, you absolutely have incredible talent. Not just in VTuber spaces like Hololive, but just J-pop and K-pop groups in general. They are very, very talented. There's lots of great rappers out there. So yeah, I would say in some ways I think it's doing better. In other ways, I think some genres are, they've kind of just been coasting. They've been staying the same, which is not a bad thing. Well, yeah, and I would say J-pop, or Baby Metal, is actually metal, and they're doing great. They've gotten cosigns from Korn and freaking Rob Zombie and Dragon Force. All these stateside bands are loving on them, which is funny to me because there's haters. I remember seeing this post on Reddit. I think it was a caption from a Facebook post, but Rob Zombie, who has been around for a while, he has made some of the best rock metal songs that a lot of people remember very well. He co-signed Baby Metal, and he was like, yeah, these guys are amazing. And someone said, I am so disappointed in you. You used to be a legend in the metal scene, and now you're just whatever. And I was like, so how is it that the figureheads that they know what they're talking about? They've been in these genres for years. Korn literally built the template for merging metal genres in a lot of ways. If they're saying, hey, this Japanese pop group that adds metal is doing really well, who are you to argue that they're wrong when you do nothing but sit there and consume? Like, it's that kind of thing that just blew my mind, because it's almost like the Kai Cenat argument. Kai Cenat was like, hey, support Iron Mouse. She does an amazing job. And people were like, I cannot believe that, so I'm just going to have to believe that Kai Cenat's wrong. It's like, it's that paradigm shift where you can't believe what other people are saying, regardless of who it is. Even if it's the very people that you think are more deserving as a creator than somebody else. Even when they try and tell you the right way to go, you just cannot believe it or do it because you just have to be right, or you just can't, enjoy anything else besides what you like or whatever. Anyway, I got to keep going here. Oh, yeah, yes, HAH. I just listened to those guys for the first time a little bit ago. I've been listening to them ever since. I love their music. It's so good. It's just so wonderful. Anyway, okay. All right, next one. Malhart21 says, what made you decide to start a YouTube channel? Well, in order to understand that, you got to understand how I actually started. I was a self-taught dancer. I wanted to have a hobby that made me different than other people, and I knew that no one around me knew how to dance. No one knew what the wave was. No one knew about the robot. No one knew about tutting. No one knew any of that stuff. So if I learned how to do that, I would be different, and people would respect me or something. That was kind of the bigger end goal. I wanted people to like me. And if I had a talent that set me apart, then people would be like, wow, I don't know anything about this. I just know it looks cool. You're amazing. So, yeah. And then I did that for a while. I filmed myself wherever I could, dancing to stuff. I was even able to perform at my school. And then I was actually able to perform at a friend's church on Easter Sunday. And if you don't know anything about church, that is one of the 2 times that everybody goes to church, is Easter Sunday and Christmas. So I was able to perform live, like just bust a move and then talk about like how we can use talents to be fun and God honoring and all this stuff. It doesn't have to be like, oh, the arts is bad, because there's some churches that just genuinely think that everything artsy is evil or something. So I did that for a while, and it was really, really fun. And then, like I said a little bit earlier, I I felt like I had something to say with music. I started doing nerdcore, as some of you know, and then I felt like doing nerdcore was too easy. It genuinely feels so much easier to me to write about someone else's story instead of make my own and then try and write that. That's kind of where I was at. So then you have this. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, plus some people know the wave, but they don't know how to actually make it look good, you know? And to be honest, the wave was one of my favorite things to learn. Because with tutting and stuff, I don't know how to really bend my hands back a certain way to make it look like a good 90-degree angle. I'm just stiff. So, knowing how to do the wave and stuff and do all those isolations with the head and the shoulders and stuff was my all-time favorite thing to do. I would just walk into a dance circle and just, "Ooh, I'm just a snake," and then people would be like, "Oh my god!" So, throw in a little bit of footwork, do a backslide or the moonwalk or something. Oh, it was perfect. Anyway, though, Pure Vessel 02 is the next person up. This might be a bit personal, so you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but I noticed in some of your videos you talk about depression in a way as if you had it or still do. So if you have, what's your experience? I'm going to go to the next series of questions as I answer this. Just going to prepare that. But yeah, I mean, they're not wrong. I have talked quite a lot about negative emotions. It's one of the reasons why I really like music as an outlet. I think it's one of the best things ever. I'll put it to you this way. Yes, I have struggled a lot with anxiety and depression. I really have. It used to be really bad, but I have since gotten help. I have worked on bettering my life to a point where I have good things in place, good hobbies in place. That's another reason why I pursue what I like to do all the more intensely, because it keeps me out of my head. But even within the last couple weeks, I have gone even further to better myself, going to some recovery groups, going to a therapist, getting back on medication when I had been off medication for decades. And all of it's been helpful. It's been difficult, don't get me wrong, because at some point, in one way or another, when you deal with a lot of negative emotions and stuff, sometimes it feels better to stay in that space than to work hard to let go. I still hate doing that sometimes. But it's been working. So I feel like even just within the last week, I am in a better place now than I've been in a really long time. That doesn't mean that everything about me is perfect. I still struggle with things. There's still a headspace that is very negative if I allow it to be that way. But I feel like now it's just a lot easier for me to focus on the positives. So anyway, on to the next series of questions here. From NIE, the Nurik, which VTuber music do you enjoy the most? Like any specific artist or group? I wouldn't say there's a group necessarily that I like best, but there is definitely a producer. Oh my lord, what is up with my YouTube recommendations? Let me see here. There is a producer that I really, really like. His name's Wataku, or their name. Let me make sure that this is okay. It's paused. I actually got to put my headphones in for this one so I can listen to this part of the song. I love how this guy does horns and bass, especially. All the instrumentation is very, very cool. Nene Amano, if you haven't heard of them, they have a couple songs out. They are very, very good. She has a very good voice. But yeah, Okay, I would just listen to the song normally, but I do want to get to the breakdown here. Whoop, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, listen to that. It's so big. It's so atmospheric. It's just, it's freaking amazing. Ooh, it's so good. It's so good. This guy does amazing stuff. There have been other songs they've done, let me see. I think either Narissa or someone else has done covers. I just don't like some of the vocal bank stuff that they use, but some of this stuff is still really, really good, and it showcases what I love about their production style. So, let's see. I think Suse has done a cover of this. But yeah, I actually heard about this on Twitter, this group, Wataku, through Twitter. Someone posted a little like reaction stream compilation that they did, and I loved it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love the bass here. Let me see here. Just the burn is just so powerful. I said it before, if ever there was a producer that I would want to work with, it'd be Wataku. It'd be Wataku. I like I've been trying to hold it in. It's just something about their style is just so good. It's like, I love it. And also the people they work with are very, very good too. So anyway, just had that emotion. Had to get that emotion out. So in terms of like specific groups and stuff, I feel like everybody does such a good job. Whoever their producers are, like, let's look at the most recent Hololive stuff. Hololive Advent, Justice, they've really narrowed down how to focus on everybody and give everyone a fair shot and mix everything really well. I'd said before, some of my earlier grievances with a lot of group production is sometimes you have the obvious really good singer in the group and everyone else is kind of okay, so then you focus on that person. I mean, obviously, yes, if you just don't know how to sing, that's going to be tough. But my hope would be that everyone would work on it to some degree, that everyone would want to sing in a group. So then you can really give everyone a shot. And I feel like even looking at Spotlight as a great example for Advent, there's plenty of points where not only are they singing in unison really well, but if it's Fuamoko or if it's Shiori singing a little chunk, you can hear them being just a little bit louder than everybody else. That is good production. And it gives everybody a shot. It lets everyone be under the spotlight, which I love. You have to do that. I think anyway. That's just my thought. So, anyway, yeah, we gotta go on with that. Yeah, Andrew, I'll post some of Wataku's stuff later, but I do have to continue here. What is your favorite Amazing Digital Circus fan song and why? Now, I have talked a little bit about how there are plenty of producers out there that I guess are horrible people or they've said and done horrible things. My only concern is if they are continuing to be terrible people, then I do not want to support them. Or if they continue to do stuff that I feel like is just a slap in the face to the content that they make, like Cougar, McGavin, I want to say, I guess their last name is. They make incredible music, but then they post stupid thirst trap stuff the rest of the time. I do not like that stuff. I feel like it bastardizes the amazing music that they make, and I would rather not have that. I would rather not support that kind of thing. But in that regard, I feel like whether you talk about Black Gryph0n, Longest Solo Ever, Kitten Sneeze, anybody like that, every single one of those people has had some sort of problem surface. Either they did something when they were 12 years old, or they posted some art that was offensive when they were a child. But that's a reason for why we need to be worried that they're horrible, awful people in the present. I don't get that. But that's the argument that a lot of people have. So I have to look at it case by case. And from what I see, when it comes to Longest Solo Ever and Kitten Sneeze, I feel like they make some of the best music out there, especially with TADC. Yes, CG5 does a really good job. It's just his style is a lot different than what I normally like to consume. Same thing with Stupendium and other groups like that. Yes, they all do TADC fan songs. I just feel like the party sort of pop style that Kitten Sneeze puts out and Longest Solo Ever doing incredible rap, I can't not appreciate that. And at least from what I see of them at the present, they are decent, good, hardworking people. That is my only understanding about that, and that's my stance on that. So, with that said, I think A Little Bit Bad, the song A Little Bit Bad by Kitten Sneeze is my favorite Amazing Digital Circus fan song. I love A Little Bit Bad. I love how they just went one step further and redid the characters. They made their own characters related to it. I think it's Docs. No, it's Docs for Jax and Jammy for Pomni. I think that's adorable. I think the artwork for them looks so good. And the way that it actually fit the song itself was really, really cool. Again, I love OCs. I love stories about those characters. So that is my viewpoint on which song I like best and which artist. I think it goes to Kitten Sneeze and Longest Solo Ever. So anyway, so for this individual who I don't know how to pronounce their name, oh my gosh, they have a lot more than I thought. Okay. Well, and that's the thing, man. Like, Rabid, I have never said, like, slurs. I've never posted something inappropriate. I've never been demeaning to other groups of people. But even if I did say something that someone could misconstrue, it's like you just said. There are some people out there that will argue, hey, if you do this one thing, you are forever up shit creek. There is nothing you can do to rectify your situation. I know it is an old world thing to think that in order to be forgiven, you have to go through this public mockery, this public penance, and it has to be intense enough that people feel like you've earned a place back at the table. I will almost award some acknowledgement to haters for one thing. They at least keep themselves out of the limelight enough that we can't see all the things that they do. Because let me tell you, every single person has said something or done something that was not good ever in their life. Every single person has. It's just what some of these haters are actually smart enough to do is not have documentation of that. So we can't immediately go, how can you argue that this person deserves to be tarred and feathered when you said this, right? So they're able to cover their, keep their nose clean, but we all know everyone makes mistakes. It's just a question of whether or not you're going to move forward and be a better person for it. And I feel like for Kitten Sneeze and Longest Solo, I don't see any reason to distrust where they're at. So, anyway. Well, and that's the thing, man, is like, when it comes to the internet, people think grace is a sign of weakness. It means that you are okay with their behavior, which is not true at all. It's literally what most of us need in our real lives. Now, unless you're going to be a horrible person and think that you never give anyone grace for anything, well then, I certainly hope you never make mistakes, because you're going to need grace for you. Anyway, I got to get going here. Let's see. Why are you alive? Was this first question. I refer back to what I was talking about with depression and anxiety and stuff, and I believe this person was basically telling me, hey, I do mean more on the serious side, like what keeps you alive, what keeps you going. It's Jesus. People might disagree with me on the beliefs that I hold and all of that. That's fine. Just there's literally no other reason that I'm here. I would have been in jail or in a ditch or both up to this point in my life. So, hey, you wanted an answer. That's the answer. 2, when did you start doing YouTube? Did you have any plan in mind? Well, I really like... Oh, hello. Did this tick over? Oh, I thought this... I thought I'd gone through 12 hours of this other thing. Anyway, I started YouTube because I wanted to do something different. And my plan in mind was to just try and be the best that I could be. I auditioned for America's Got Talent in 2016. I learned that in those spaces, it's not about actual talent. It's about marketability. All of us dancers who performed, we were not good enough, quote unquote, to captivate people with some sorry sob story or some look that was interesting. All we did was we got up there and we just busted our butts. And none of us moved ahead. So it was a good experience to go do that. It actually took a lot of work for me to even get there in order to compete, because I was living in Northern California at the time and I drove all the way down to Southern California. My roommates were actually there to support me. They drove me through the night. It was crazy. And then we just spent the rest of the day driving up the coast, going to the beach, hitting up a few places to eat. It was actually a really fun time, despite the fact that it essentially was pointless. But yeah. Anyway, let's keep going here. Tomatoes or grapes? I hate everything about tomatoes except for spaghetti sauce, like a tomato paste. So grapes. If humanity's presented with 2 buttons, red and blue, red lets one who presses it live no matter what. Blue lets everyone live if more than 50% of the people... You know what? I am just going to say purple. That is my answer to that. If you were a color, which color would you be? Purple, because it's fun. Which color do you think loved ones see me as? Probably something like blue. Very cool, laid back a lot of the time. That's just kind of how I am. So, do you know Undertale? Yes, I do. It was my favorite game of all time in a lot of ways. If not, you got to play it. Which soul trait are you? I think it's probably what is it? Like empathy. I am empathetic to a fault. I will always be ready to give people another shot and try and see them from where they're coming from, because there by the grace of God go I. That's what I say. So, would you still love me if I were a worm? Yes. The only question is, would you be comfortable with me putting you in a jar? Because, by that I mean a terrarium, because when I was a kid in middle school, I had to do a science experiment where I had 2 jars that were identical and 2 worms that were exactly the same, put them in the different jars, and in one I had certain, like I think it was just food and stuff that they got from the outside, mud, dirt, all that stuff, leaves, branches, and then on the other side it was like people food or something. And regardless of what I did, for some reason on the normal outdoor side, even though both jars had mud and soil and plants and stuff like that, the normal worm jar, they kept dying. I would put a new worm in there and it kept dying. So I made a joke during part of my presentation that I wondered if there was something wrong with the jar, because I literally did everything exactly the same way. I just put different food in there, and for one side they just kept dying. So if you're willing to put up with that, with the possibility that you have a 50% chance of dying at my hands, then yes. How's my eyesight? I actually just went to an optometrist, got these new glasses, and it turns out that I had the wrong prescription for a really long time. I don't know how that ended up happening, but I learned that my prescription's actually a lot better than what it had been. And I just hadn't been to an optometrist in forever. So, I mean, these glasses are great. I also like how the framing goes a little bit further back. Instead of feeling like I have these tiny little lenses I have to look through, it kind of feels like it pulls around my head a little bit more. So, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, weirdest thing that you have confused for something else. I remember when I thought my shirt was my dog and kept talking to it for half an hour. Oh yeah, well if it's dark, I mean, I frequently think that the chair in the back of my room has a demon sitting in it. some creepy long figure is sitting there. Looking at me. I don't know what they want, but they just keep smiling at me like they're happy to see me sleep or something. It was very weird. Is it worse to be really sick or be stabbed? Well, it depends on where you get stabbed. Now, if it says you know that you'll survive in this scenario, I think really sick just because it takes a lot longer. There can also be infection that just lasts longer, and then you don't have any energy. I mean, I know in both cases you need to just sit and rest, but I would probably rather, I mean, also, I could just be stabbed in the arm or something, and I'll be fine. I just have to use one hand. I'm back at work. Take some painkillers, and we're good. As opposed to when I've been really sick, I normally don't get sick, but when I do get sick, it's because I'm exhausted. So then I just sleep all day. And I'm lying there like, I want to get up. And my body's like, no, you will lie here and do nothing. I'm like, please, I need to move. So anyway, if you were to go back in time when you were 10 with your mind of today, what would happen? I would have a lot more fun. Because a lot of the ways that I stressed myself out with no reason whatsoever was thinking that everything was going to fall apart. And the worst thing about that type of anxiety is you can't tell yourself you're wrong because you're not there yet. So until you're there, you can't really tell yourself, no, things are going to be fine. It's like, well, you don't know. So if I could look back on that, I would just tell myself, dude, you're not really going to go through too much trouble. You're going to have some points where you're going to get stressed. You're going to have some stuff happen that's a little bit scary, but you're good. Like, just chill. Have a good time. That's what I would say. Anyway, extras. If you were a song, which song would it be? Is there a song or melody that you listen to and it makes you feel like, yeah, that's me? Plenty of songs from Ocean Eyes by Owl City. I've said it before, if ever there was an artist that I could work with, it would be Owl City. I just love his music. I've always loved his music. It was so transformative in my early life as a wannabe musician to listen to stuff like Rainbow Veins and Ocean Eyes. I wish he could go back to that goofy, quirky style because I genuinely love it. It's so good. That synth pop kind of silly stuff. Any song from that, like Fuzzy Blue Lights. Let me see. Oh my gosh, why can I not think of any of the songs? Ocean Eyes tracks. Hey, Flexecute, thank you. Thank you for the love on that. Let's see. Oh my gosh, it does. I don't want Billie Eilish. There we go. Cave In. That's one of my favorites. I love Cave In. The Bird and the Worm is really good. Umbrella Beach is great. Saltwater Room is a classic. Dental Care is fun. Golf and alcohol don't mix. That's why I don't drink and drive, because good grief, I'd knock out my teeth and have to kiss my smile goodbye. I haven't listened to that song in forever, but I still remember it. When I danced at my school, it's not in this album. It's in Rainbow Veins, or Maybe I'm Dreaming. That's what it's called. The album's called Maybe I'm Dreaming. There's a song in it called Rainbow Veins. But on that album, the song that I danced to and did a cover to was Hot Air Balloon. And yeah, that was really fun. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Well, and it's funny to me because like everyone remembered Fireflies and that's it. I don't even think that's his best song, honestly. He's made so many great songs. It's just kind of sad that he blew up so much from that, and I think he took so many years off making that same kind of music. And I kind of get that. Like, even if you make a song that everybody likes, maybe you're kind of done with that style, or you just don't want to make it anymore. I don't even know like where I want to go next musically. I'm just excited to work on something. But yeah, like I would think that if I were Adam Young and I did Fireflies and that blew up, and then you come out with that song for Wreck-It Ralph. What was it called? Well, there's also Good Time. It's always a good time. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. What was the other one? It's been fun, but now I've got to go. Life's too short to have to take it slow. When Can I See You Again? The ending song for Wreck-It Ralph. He did so good with all those songs, and then he just didn't put out anything for like 2 years. I don't get that. I really don't. But he's also a big-time artist, and I am not. So, anyway. Let's keep going here. Thank you very much, Leon, for the congrats on the EP. I hope you get to check it out on Bandcamp. A link to that is going to be in the description of the EP itself. Anyway, favorite series, favorite character, and which characters you feel would be from such series. I don't know what that means. I'll just say favorite series. Probably something cozy like Eurocamp, but then I also like a lot of the characters from My Hero Academia. Even though it's been memed to death and people don't like shonen shows because the fan base, it still has dang good characters. But then I even do like some series that like people would argue is like not appropriate for general audiences, like Baka and Test, or Freezing, or Kill la Kill even. But those all have really good characters. I'm not saying I like everything about the shows, but it's at least has really good writing. Maybe it suppresses that writing under the ridiculous amounts of fan service, but I'm just saying it's still there. So anyway, cats better than dogs, I would agree. Just because I've been bitten by dogs before, I don't like how there's so many dogs that you literally can do nothing to stop them. When cats, if all else fails, you can literally pick most of them up. Food better than sleep? I don't really think so. I mean, I have gotten my weight up over the last couple months, so I understand the value of always feeding yourself and keeping yourself going. But, dude, you can have all the food in the world, and if you can't go to sleep, you're dead. I would rather have that. 15, have you explored other art forms apart from music? I have tried drawing. I'm just not good at it. And the idea, like I can draw stuff that's flat or like a profile shot, like a side view. And the idea of trying to work on drawing things at different angles horrifies me. I don't know how people do it. I really don't. And the idea of putting in years to try and figure out that basic idea, it's just too much for me. I don't know. Leon, I never really watched Hunter x Hunter. I mean, I know about it, but I never really watched it. Let me see. Also, I've played the piano. It's been a few years since I played, but if you guys saw one of my shorts, I got back into it playing Dire Dire Docks. I'm not perfect at it, but it's fun. It's fun to get into. Anyway, Pidgey Boy says, what is your favorite and least favorite part of creating something? Your own music and reacting to videos. When I used to react to more long-form stuff, I hated sitting. And I hated editing stuff to try and cut it together to make it look nice or whatever. I just wanted to sit and just focus, get through something, give it my thoughts, call it a day. But at the same time, sometimes that really would stress me out. And now that I give myself a week to make something, it makes me feel a whole lot less stressed to be able to sit down and be like, okay, I'm just going to take some time to do this. My favorite part when it comes to, making my own music, it's probably the recording process, because I always overthink how I sound, even though I sound fine. I just don't like how I sound sometimes. Or I assume that I don't sound good when I sound fine. Like, people have said that I don't sound like I have a lot of energy. This is how I sound. Like, even when I'm intense, when I put this type of energy onto a track, it just doesn't sound like I have energy. I don't know why. It's like the camera can add 10 pounds. It seems like the microphone takes away like half your voice. I don't know what it is. But, oh, nice. Kind of curious, are there any bands that you have dropped lately due to not liking their attitudes or how they conduct themselves outside of their music? Personally, Skillet for me. What did Skillet do? Oh no, please don't tell me they did anything bad. The Arms, hello, welcome. That's cool though that you got into keyboard. That's fun. I like how you can do all different presets and stuff and make it cool. While we're waiting to figure out what happened to Skillet, I mean, As I Lay Dying, they were the most influential band for me with loving heavy metal music and knowing that you can be God-honoring with heavy music and, you know, fun and cool and actually cutting edge. And then he ended up just being a terrible person. And he still puts out music and stuff. I just feel sad. It's like, dude, you were my inspiration for loving metal music, for wanting to get into it, all of that stuff. It's so sad to me that you're just like, whatever. You know, I'm going to argue that I lied about being a Christian. I'm not really a Christian. And then every band member that was with you from day one leaves, and no one's willing to tell you why. They just said to the internet that they felt uncomfortable being around him. Bro, what are you doing to your band members that they feel uncomfortable? I don't get it. It just feels so foreign. So that's my answer with that. Let's see. Which year was it when you got into music? So when I first started making music, I was 28. I know I was very old at that point, but it's because I didn't know for the longest time how easy it is to go on the internet and find people to help you produce stuff. I didn't know anything about that. I thought you had to get a bunch of friends together. Someone had to play, you know, drums. Someone had to play guitar. Someone had to play bass. Someone had to do all these different things. And it was just so much work to try and get a bunch of people together to make stuff. I didn't know what to do. So I just kind of kept it to myself that I wanted to make music. And then I found out about Bandcamp and BeatStars and Fiverr and all these different places where you can work with people. And then it was history from there. Anyway. So yeah, what year that was? It's 2026 now, and that was like 7 years ago. So like 2019, I think. Universe 26, totally different question here. What is your favorite enemy from Monstrum? Bonus points if they come with a sticky glowy, the glow sticks in that game. First of all, you guys need to check out Universe 26. Because they are very, very fun. And they bring back a lot of old school horror games like Soma and Monstrum. I didn't know anyone even knew about Monstrum anymore. But they keep playing it. Obviously, it's going to be the big guy, the lantern head, the guy who just clears the hallways. Just, roar, you know, it's super cool. Big dude. Love that. Yeah. So that's basically that. I think there's one more set of comments that I have. Let me check. Let me see. Okay. Here was the last set of questions. I don't know what this last question is. One of these last questions. Can you make a TADC or FNAF rap song? I could, but like I said with nerdcore stuff, I feel like not only has it been done so much, I don't feel like there's too much I can say about different characters necessarily, but also it just feels too easy to me when I would rather work on something like trying to tell my own story. So, yeah, so then that's basically it. That's all they had to say on that. Let me see. All right. Now, we're going to go to a comment, a few comments from the chat here. Let's see. For me, Igor's last album, Amen, lost his personality more than metal now, rather being combining multiple styles, but it's still awesome. I wish he did more experimental stuff. I totally get you on that. In my recent reaction to Worker, 7,000 or 5,754 snare drums, something like that. I feel like that was like the most experimental, enjoyable slam metal ever. It was really, really cool. I just don't know why I mean, I get the experimentation and stuff, and it's cool, but I feel like I've kind of seen and tasted some of that style enough times with these last few albums. I kind of wish they went back to some of the other stuff, but I feel like that's how most people are. You know, you get to know an artist for a certain style, and then they try something else, and you like that, but then you wish they went back to the other thing, and then it happens in reverse. Let's see. And does a lot of, okay, yeah. Well, and the thing, too, is like, for Curion, 2911 says, the lead singer of Skillet is ultra-conservative and does lots of, like, you're going to suffer for eternity if you're not in my specific religion. As an atheist, it was very uncomfortable watching his speeches. I get that. I mean, as someone who is conservative like him, and believes the same way that he does, I just don't think the way that he goes about that kind of thing. For Today did the same thing. There's plenty of other Christian bands like that just kind of go off on stuff that, you know, based on what we believe, there is some credence to that, but it's also not ever put anywhere that it's our job to make those types of assumptions about an audience, especially. I just don't feel like that's called for. So that's really upsetting. But I thought it was something else that happened to him or whatever, you know. In light of the Tim Lambesis stuff, I was like, please don't let Skillet be in that same spot. The Pack RS says, over your career in YouTube, what are some of your favorite memories? Ooh. Probably when I reacted to different VTubers and then they shouted me out. And I don't say this because, I wanted all the attention and all this stuff. I felt like it was finally, I was able to connect with someone whose craft I really liked. And the fact that they, you know, knew who I was and acknowledged my existence felt so great. And there's even been a couple content creators that to one degree or another I've been able to work with, quote unquote, because I've reacted to their stuff and, you know, that kind of thing. Like Ellie Minibot, I did a live stream with her, like a Q&A thing with her. I would love to work with her on stuff. I'm also a really shy person, so I don't know if anyone would ever want to work with me. But it's something that I always thought would be cool to do. But I remember, oh my gosh, I think she's gone under a couple names, but there was a lady who did some really cool songs, and she was leaving YouTube for a time. She came back, I think, a year later, and then she posted a little bit, and then she hasn't been on since, from my understanding. But she just said the nicest stuff when I told her, like, hey, you know, I really like your music, and I would hope you would continue going with it. And she was like, everybody check out Roar. He's really sweet and nice, and he makes great music. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, it feels like when I was a kid, I had like a favorite artist that I wish I could talk to at a show or something. So then finally feeling like I'm able to do that because of the internet and because these creators are a little bit smaller, it's like to feel like I can actually connect with you and be like, hey, your music's really, really cool. I feel like that's one of the coolest things. I just love that stuff. Even back when I did Nerdcore, I did a reimagining of Daddy Fat Snap's song for All Might. And I tried to sound kind of like his voice, and I did my own version of a rap for him. And he actually commented. I had never, in all the years that I worked in the nerdcore scene, every artist I tried to talk to and communicate with, nobody ever gave me any time of day except for Daddy Fat Snaps. And he was like, dude, this sounds really good. Keep it up. This is really cool. So I was like, sweet. So, anyway, what are your goals professionally and personally going forward? Flexicute says, I would love to do more interviews with more VTubers. I would love to do more stuff like that. Even stuff like Nick Nocturnal doing interviews with actual established artists. I would love to do that. But I feel like the bigger thing is like you kind of have to be a big creator in order for people to want to work with you. But yeah, and then I really want to dial in something with my own music that I can tell as a long running story. I love anime that are long running stories and stuff like that, and I want to have a long running series of albums. That is my biggest goal. And I want to have characters that can be celebrated and be really fun and like that kind of thing. So that's the short on that. You should do a Pokemon Smash or Pass. No. No. I think for me, I got soured by content when people started slinging slurs in their content. I don't get why people do that. Like, people argue that like streaming is harder than a 9 to 5. Let me tell you something, buddy. Half of these political commentators and these buttholes for content type content creators, they wouldn't last in a 9 to 5 because there's things called laws. There's things called misuse of the freedom of speech. You can't just sling whatever you want to say to a little group of people at your job site and not get fired and like blacklisted. Like it's so stupid what some of these people do where they're like, yeah, it's just so hard to sit around all day. No, it's not. It's not. Now, the one thing that is more difficult on the internet is people can keep coming back to you. You know, people can keep commenting. They can make ghost accounts. They can do all these different things. They can get their own followers to attack you. That doesn't happen out in the real world, usually. If you get a really cranky customer who just has a bad day and they spit at you or something, you're probably not going to see them again. But then in the meantime, if I were to just go off and talk this or that or the other in a normal job site, dude, you're sent to HR. You got to keep it professional. People don't have to do that online, and I think it's funny how many content creators just don't understand that. They don't know how good they got it. Yeah. Have you played any rhythm games? Honestly, the only rhythm game I ever played was one related to Maury's song Red. I don't even know what it was called, but I basically got through it because I just button mashed. I tried to do it like, you know, with the up and down, left and right to match the song and everything and the visuals, and I just couldn't get it right. So then I just started smashing the buttons, and then it worked. So I was like, okay. I don't think I'm good at rhythm games. I don't know why. I've tried Friday Night Funkin' as well. I'm terrible at that game. I can't read what's going on quickly enough. My brain just doesn't understand how to translate that into movement with the game and stuff. So, let me see. Dude, Cell Dweller. Curion mentioned Cell Dweller. I love Cell Dweller. One of my favorite songs that I like fixated on for a while was Into the Void. It's such a good, like, bassy metal song. It's just, oh, so good. Just, so good. Okay, let's see. Well, the pack, I could probably go back into nerdcore. I mean, I'm not totally against it. It's just, I don't know what I could offer that's different than plenty of people out there who've already done that kind of stuff. The one thing I will say that really frustrated me about a lot of the nerdcore community is because I was on Discord groups where we tried to work on group nerdcore songs. I was given characters I knew nothing about. I would go Google them and research them and figure out, okay, what kind of story can I tell about them? And then no one else worked on anything. There are so many people in the nerdcore community that are not able to follow through on anything. And then there's plenty of artists out there too that they really act like they are the most talented people on God's green earth. I'm not going to name names, but those were the people that soured me to even be in the community anymore. It's like, it's not about like the music necessarily. It's almost as, in my experience, it feels almost as ridiculous as, the just mainstream music, where some people are so blinded to what talent actually is or what story you're trying to tell, they just want to bop. And it's like, I don't care about that. I genuinely don't care. You know, but anyway though, let's see here. I know what Igor actually saw my album, but replied, it's okay. I'll miss your remix of the new P. You should start a podcast where you play a game with a VTuber and interview them during. That would be cool. I think that would be great. Any sort of way to make the interview process a little more interesting than just sitting there. Admittedly, I know that what I did was really boring with Ellie Minibutt, but it was the only avenue I knew. And I haven't done interview stuff before, so that would be fun. Let me see. There's a lot of people out there, either it's internet content creation or a traditional 9-to-5, that are allergic to doing their jobs. Yeah, well, that's the other thing too, man. It's like, there's so many people that genuinely, like, all they do is complain about stuff. And I've seen people like this in my normal job, where I almost want to tell them, what are you hoping to accomplish? Do you really think sitting there being like, oh man, I just can't believe that they had us do this? I'm like, who cares? Who cares? Do you really think if you keep saying that people are like, yeah, we should stop doing that? No, that's your job. Just do it. Like, and if it's really that difficult for people to understand, there's things that are expected of you that are not always going to be the most fun, happy things ever. It's not going to be laid back. It's not going to be chill. It's a job. Do you care about actually doing the best that you can do? Or do you want to be comfy and just not have to work and just kind of sit around? Well, then get a different job. Like, it really is weird to me, because I always wonder, like, has this ever worked? Have you ever just sat in a break room and complained enough where people have been like, you know what? You deserve the day off. Go take a day, champ. Nobody cares. You either show up and do what you do, or you don't. And I don't get where some people think, like, yeah, if I really complain enough, I could. It's the same thing when I watch body cams, or, you know, you get VTubers that do the body cam reactions like Dragon Spit or Marshy or people like that. It's hilarious to me to see people that are really like, but why should I give you my ID, officer? I'm like, 'cause it's a law. Well, it's just stupid. Okay, who cares? Who cares? It's not going to do anything. It's not going to mean anything if you complain. It's not going to mean anything. It's actually just going to land you in jail. You're going to have fines. You're going to have all these different things going on if you just sit there refusing, because what? You feel like that's going to help something? It never does. I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway. Well, and you know, the thing with that, Arms, is I'll just say, dude, a Minecraft server would actually be pretty cool. Just going to say. I just don't play it very much. I do have some IRL friends that we play Minecraft right now. I haven't been able to play with them, but I've been fiddling around on just Minecraft, you know, whatever in general to get used to it. But I mean, any sort of group stuff like that would be fun. I feel like it takes so much more planning than what I'm used to doing. I would need some help with figuring that out, but you know, that's a plan for 2027, maybe. Yeah, you know, I really liked the doing recap nerdcore songs. I didn't want to do yet another rap on Naruto. I'm so sorry, but I don't care anymore. It's one of the things that gets me so heated about, again, another part of the nerdcore community. You put out 20 million raps about Dragon Ball. We get it. Even Game Boy Jones, who I think is a great guy, and he puts out some cool music. I literally saw a lyric. I can't remember what song it was related to, but he said, "Powering up like I'm Goku." I'm like, bro, there's other characters in anime that power up. Stop going with the main three all the time. It's so boring. Like, yet again, I just hear yet another thing. Oh my gosh. It's like there's so many great shows going on right now and nobody does any music on them. I haven't seen more than one person do a song on Gachiakuta, and that's, I don't know who it was, but Mori Calliope and this other person are the only person I've ever seen do a rap on Gachiakuta. Why? It's a phenomenal show. And okay, you get, you know, the Jujutsu Kaisen fans, so you get some of that stuff. You get My Hero Academia, so it's not all the old stuff necessarily, but like, just like how there's so many different genres of music, you could easily do lo-fi rap about Eurocamp, about A Place Further Than the Universe, about touring through the apocalypse. I'm trying to think of other shows like that. Just like there's different genres of music, there's different genres of shows. It feels like it's a no-brainer. Stop going with the dubstep rap on freaking Naruto. Stop it. We've seen enough of this. I feel like T-Pain for the nerdcore community. Do something else. Do something else. We already have the auto-tune. We have the rapping over dubstep. Stop it. It's just, my gosh. Isn't anyone fatigued about this at all? Or is the only thing you like watching Naruto and One Piece? It's fine, but like, oh. Anyway. I just need a minute. Yeah, dude, I said it before. A Place Further Than the Universe is leagues better than Eurocamp. But I will watch Eurocamp any day of the week. It's just so good. So, but yeah, I mean, A Place Further Than the Universe. I wish they did another season. It was so pretty. The music was so good. The characters were adorable. My favorite scene, which still circulates Twitter, was when one of the main characters, she was trying to sneak all of her information for going on the Antarctica trip from her mom. And she comes home and the mom is kind of like, she knows what happened. She knows what her daughter was doing, but then she tries to be like, I can't remember exactly what she said, but she basically kind of let her know like, hey, I know what you're doing and it's going to be bad for you. And then the daughter is like running for the door and the dad opens the door and he's tired. He's coming home from work and he's like, and he's like, okay, or dosa, she's like, Dad, please help me. And the dad looks at the wife who like is holding the ladle that she was cooking dinner with. And he closes the door and he goes, "Simasen." And he's holding the door and the daughter is like screaming as she gets a whooping from the mom. And he's just sitting there like, "Forgive me, daughter." It's funny. It's endearing. It's so sweet. I even relate to that whole concept of like holding back from people who can help you because you're worried that people won't support you with stuff. So you keep it a secret. You don't tell anyone about it. Well, if you do talk to people about it, you're going to find people who can help you. That is a big thing that I wish I really believed when I was younger. So anyway, A Place Further Than the Universe is great. I love that show. Yeah, and the thing too is like you can get all those smaller series in little bite-sized chunks with rap songs. That was a favorite thing I liked to do. I liked looking for shows that were currently airing that I didn't hear anyone talk about. Yeah. I mean, even Land of the Lustrous, it's a great series. Nobody talks about it except for analysis like reviewers like Glass Reflection and back when Digibro was, well, the same individual they are now, but, talking about it at least. I'm going to have to check that one out. Kikurinon. Yeah, what's funny to me about A Place Further then is I thought that the series was going to be horrific. I thought it was going to end with this very brutal, sad moment of realization. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean. I thought that's what the whole show was going to be leading up to. So when it just kind of does this little nod to a huge loss that happened in the series, and then it's just back to everyone kind of just being, chill and enjoying the penguins up in Antarctica and what have you, and continuing to be friends, I felt like I lost the plot. I was like, wait, I thought this was supposed to be almost like a horror series. Like, when things get intense, we realize this horrible, awful thing happened to this person who got lost up in the ice, and then we see them and it's all like, blah, or whatever, like The Thing or something. I thought that's what it was going to be about, so I was very confused. I got into it assuming the wrong conclusion. But, yeah, Rabbit, you're absolutely right. Take time to do that. In terms of the trolling with nerdcore stuff, that was what I just was thinking of doing. Since I put out the EP, I've conceptualize like 4 or 5 different potential series. I have characters, I have a vision for the story. It's just I just don't know which one people would like. I have plenty of like sort of variations of the magical girl genre, quote unquote, where it's like, you know, it's a grown lady who like likes that whole genre of anime or whatever, and then gets forced to be in that sort of magical space, and then she learns how to like kind of come to terms with her younger self that enjoys all that cutesy stuff or whatever. Or you get, you know, because you get all these magical contracts, you get all these different things, someone has to do the paperwork. So I even thought of this genre where it's this magical girl lady, but she's in an office and she's like working with all these different extraterrestrial like creatures and stuff, trying to make sure that the contracts are being, you know, appropriately analyzed, and the communication about those contracts is appropriately communicated to the characters who are supposed to be these magical individuals. I just thought that would be funny. And then I started thinking about it more, and I'm like, I don't know. And that's what it always was. But in that sort of vein, one idea that I had was literally about the internet and about how negativity, even if people act like, well, it's all in good fun, stop complaining, whatever. I mean, isn't that funny? It's the people who never actually make anything that think it's all in good fun and everyone should just stop complaining. Yeah, if I did that to you, you wouldn't like it. Think about that for a second. But the more I thought about it, like I said a little bit earlier, I feel like if I really try and go hard for, you know, acknowledging how words hurt people on the internet and how we really need to use this incredible tool that we have for better than what we're doing right now, that it just gives the negativity more fuel. And I didn't want to do that. But well, first of all, Real, I do know Aphex Twins. I've listened to them. Rabid, I just spit an idea that I had for a series. That's not a show. I just came up with that the other day. I was like, oh, that'd be kind of funny, you know? Maybe this lady was a magical girl earlier in life, but then her wand turns into like a stapler, that she can like do these cool like contract things, and she has to go through the paperwork to make sure that the familiars communicate things correctly to the magical girls under them and that kind of thing. So then she has to like manage contract administration, and her familiar and weapons of choice and all that stuff just turn into office supplies. That's the idea I had. I was like, I don't know if anyone will like this. It might be cute. I don't know. I'm currently I have an idea right now of basically it's about a siren who can choose to come to the land, you know, turn into a normal person, or, you know, the lower half can just be a normal person. And there could be some magical stuff where like the scales from the waist down can turn into like a tracksuit or something. So that's their general clothes that they wear. And they, even though they're a siren, they try to do good. And it can kind of lend itself to a bit more intense songs where like, hey, someone's drowning, you know, I can't carry this person in by myself. Help me, fisherman. And then they look at her like, oh, well, you're probably trying to hurt us. And she's like, you can think that, but we need to help somebody over here. And I feel like, you know, that kind of idea, you can also go into like body horror and cosmic horror stuff. You know, the sea can be whatever you want it to be in these type of spaces. She can choose to protect the coast, you know, and you can do all this cool like sci-fi music about the stuff that she encounters, the people that she encounters. You know, I feel like there's a lot of variety to that. So that's something I'm trying to chew out and flesh out a little bit right now, but that's just my thought on that. So, yeah, Archspire and Tool. Dude, like, if ever I wanted artists to work together, it'd be like, who was I just thinking of? Archspire, and there was someone else that I was like, dude, if Archspire worked with this other band, it would be the coolest thing ever. But I totally forgot what the other band was. Like, oh my gosh, like someone like Igor, actually. The way they do crazy production and stuff, and like different really unique stuff in the studio. It would be so cool if you gave the Igor treatment to Archspire. It would just be really neat, I think, anyway. Or some bands that just have like crazy gutturals or like high pitched squeals, like a black metal band or something, and you just played like insane technical black metal. That would be cool. I would love to check that stuff out. But oh, we got a new Marshy video. Sweet. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I'd say that's pretty much everything I have to say here. We are very close to 10K. Very excited about that. I'm sure I'll do a little video on that once we get there. Other than that, just kind of working on stuff. And my hair. I hate this. I was going to work out actually after this, so I got to get probably go into that, stretch my legs out because I've been sitting here for almost 2 hours. Oh yeah, Corpse Grinder. That would be really good. But then there's someone else I'm trying to think of. It's going to annoy me if I think about it, but it's like there's so many bands out there that have really good highs. Like a female band like Ginger or what was that one band? Something Wish, not Nightwish. Spirit Box and Archspire would be really, really cool, I think. What is Mr. Bungle? Is that an actual like metal band? Like, what is that? I heard about that before, but I never knew, like, who are they? I watched Dickie Dines as well, and I was just listening to that. Okay. An American experimental rock band formed, wow, 1985. That's interesting. Huh. That's very interesting. First song I see, My Ass is on Fire. Okay. Oh, really? I'll have to check those guys out. Hello. Is my... Okay, there we go. Oh, that looks kind of interesting. Let's here, take a look at this. Look at this guy. This is Igor. And then, oh, this is like the way... Okay. I don't think I ever watched any of these to see like the actual in the studio like soundboards that they have. That's very cool. I'm gonna have to check that out on my own time. But anyway, yes. So sorry, Ghost Cat. I haven't heard of Hey Chat. I have not heard of that group. And then Kikorian. I know that Shiori put out those comics. I haven't been able to check them out yet. I plan on doing that soon. Yeah. Okay, well, hey, I think now is probably as good a time as any to call it here. I am very, very tired, and I need to go to the gym. I haven't worked out today. The rabbit's been outside. She's good, but I just want to check on her as well. But yeah, thank you guys so much for showing up. I am very excited to see where we go next as a community, where I see myself in the next, year at least. And yeah, you guys, you didn't ever have to come back and support me. I know some of you guys have watched me for a long time. It really does mean the world that you guys chose to be like, to come back and continue to support me. I want to make that up to you guys. I want to do something to really get, really just make it up to you guys. You guys have done so much for me when you didn't have to. I feel like it's the least I could do. So that's all I got to say about that, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm just going to call it here. Take care of yourselves. Have a good rest of your Saturday. Do something fun. Rest. Relax. So, anyway. Real, you can just message me on Discord as well. But I really do got to get going. I'll see you guys later, though.